stunned I was. And I felt like just shouting, wait a minute. It's business as usual. Everybody's going about their jobs. Don't you understand there's a war going on?
1, 2.
This is Bob Mueller at the Republican Party convention in Miami Beach, 1972.
We don't want your fucking war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your fucking war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your fucking war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your fucking war.
We feel that it's our patriotic duty to stop this war as Vietnam veterans we served over there. So we're going to read this statement to President Richard M. Nixon. We have fought in your war and lost. We have been maimed and crippled for the rest of our lives. We have lost many of our brothers in this war. We have killed men, women, and children. Every day we ask why. We cannot live with this. Now is the time for all good presidents to come to the aid of his men. 4 years ago, you ran on a peace platform. 4 years have passed, and this corrupt and immoral war still goes on. You have lied to your country.
We now strip ourselves of those medals for courage and heroism, those decorations for wounds we suffered. We cast these away as symbols of dishonor, shame, and inhumanity, and dedicate ourselves now to the peace and brotherhood this nation once held as its heritage.
There was much shallowness and rhetoric then, but the view of authority, the so-called consensus, against which all other opinions are measured as biased or politically tainted, was challenged as never before, both by those who fought and those who did not. For many people in America and Britain, that was the true meaning of the Vietnam years. An alternative to corrupt power and war was seen as practical as it was idealistic. People who went to prison for a principle were no longer eccentrics, but genuine moral heroes. So too were those soldiers I knew who deserted not out of fear but in disgust, who refused orders and fired intentionally over the heads of an enemy they respected more than their own. But where is that moral outrage now? Oh yes, Bob Mueller in his wheelchair was briefly fashionable. Indeed, he was invited to meet Henry Kissinger and the big names in oil and banking and war. David Packard, one of the richest men in armaments, told him, "Bob, we're going to help you, veterans."
It's almost a year to the day since I had that meeting. I've written him no less than 5 times. I've called his office no less than 10 times. And I have never gotten even the courtesy of a reply or a return phone call. Total, absolute silence.
And he promised to help.
He promised to help. But for a guy like that, who was Undersecretary of Defense in the Vietnam War, who was one of the 10 richest individuals in the country, who made his money on defense contracts, and who today is still in the paper